So I used to think that I was sleeping fine. 7 hours, sometimes 8. I'd close my eyes, I'd wake up, that was it. Sleep. I got good sleep. Except I was terrible at it. Things that I didn't think were a big deal, like I would wake up in the middle of the night. I would blame Walker a lot. I would wake up in the middle of the night 2, sometimes 3 times every night of the week. But in my head, I was getting 8 hours of sleep. I started sleep tracking using a wearable and still seeing 70, 80% sleep scores, thinking that was not bad. So over the last year, I changed 8 things. I didn't do it all at once. I slowly added new things into my sleep regimen to see if I can make a difference, if I can improve my sleep, and what that would actually do. Would I feel better in the morning? Would it make me feel younger? I'm in my mid-40s. None of these 8 things require anything super fancy, no $5,000 mattress covers or wearables. You don't need it. But now that I've narrowed down these 8 things that are helping me sleep, I sleep like I'm getting paid for it. So I want to talk about exactly what I did, what I think made the biggest difference in order. And in the end, I'll go through a few things that you could do that I think make a big difference that's actually free. So again, I didn't do all 8 things at once. I layered them in over about a year. I didn't originally set out to do this to make a video. I was doing this to improve my own sleep. So the first 6 were without the idea of actually testing. But really what a lot of this is based on is the fact that I was feeling fatigued, I was feeling worn down, I didn't feel like I was recovering from my workouts as quickly as I would like, and generally I would wake up in the morning pretty tired. So along with tracking, I was able to judge how things worked just based on a few of those feelings. Was I getting as fatigued? Was I feeling tired throughout the day? And did I feel like I was recovering? The first thing on the list sounds a little dramatic, but it's dead simple. When the sun starts to go down, I dim all the lights in my house. I turn everything to the lowest setting. Lamps go dim, overheads go off, screen brightnesses go down. If it has a dimmer, it gets dimmed. The reason is your body produces melatonin in response to darkness. Bright overhead lights at 9 p.m. are essentially telling your brain that it's noon. By keeping your lights bright at night, you're fighting your own biology and wondering why you can't sleep. I did this for years. Now, over the last year, if I've needed to replace a bulb, I replace it with a pretty inexpensive smart light. So now what I've been able to do, just using my home app on my phone, is set automations that every light now gets dimmed or turned off at sunset. I don't need to worry about the time. When the sun sets, it automatically does it. This one was hard to notice it making a difference, but the thing that I did notice was that I was falling asleep a little easier. I was getting tired at night. I was actually passing out on the couch. That was something that I didn't do before. I was always wired pretty much all the way up until bedtime. I noticed that within a couple of days of doing it consistently. This is something that your brain reacts to right away. Number 2 is magnesium, but specifically magnesium glycinate. The glycine component is actually the key here. There's pretty decent research that shows glycine helps lower core body temperature and promote relaxation. It's not a sleeping pill. It's not going to knock you out. Doesn't make you groggy the next day. It just kind of takes the edge off. For me, adding magnesium glycinate, 2 capsules every night, well, 2 of these capsules, 400 milligrams, every night, that was immediate. I noticed that the very first day I started taking it, I would take this, within 30 minutes, I was crashing out. I was feeling tired, feeling incredibly relaxed. I do think it affects some people more than others. Sleep things do tend to affect me more than Monica. We both take magnesium. This is something that we both do, we both stick with. And for me, it makes a pretty dramatic difference. I look at it as kind of like a signal to my brain that we're about to wind down. It's time for bed. Number 3, we've talked about this one before, Tart cherry juice. 30 minutes before bed. I take this with the magnesium. When I originally heard about this, I was skeptical, especially because it's a carbohydrate. There's 25 grams of sugar in this for 8 ounces, so 12.5 grams for 4. But there is solid science here. Tart cherries are one of the few natural food sources of melatonin. And they also contain tryptophan and anti-inflammatory compound that, according to science, improve sleep quality and sleep duration. Now, there are a couple of studies, and I'll be honest, they're small ones, but they show that tart cherry juice increases sleep time on average by about 84 minutes. Now, I don't know if I'm getting an extra 84 minutes of sleep, but I do know that I'm falling asleep faster and I'm sleeping longer now. I'm waking up less. Any Tart cherry juice that is 100% Tart cherry is going to work exactly the same, anything that's not from concentrate. Now, the last three are the three that I've been doing for over a year. They're the ones that I've been adding in slowly over time. 4 through 8 are more recent additions to the list, but they absolutely helped. But before we get into those, let me tell you about today's sponsor. So I've spent the last couple of years testing pretty much everything on myself. Marathon training, diet experiments, and I've talked about Function Health quite a bit in the past with my blood work. But there is one thing that I haven't done yet. Look inside my body. I can track pretty much every biomarker in the world, but I don't know what's going on with my actual organs. And that's why I partnered with Function Scans. It's an advanced MRI that screens up to 13 organs in 22 minutes. No radiation, totally non-invasive. We're talking brain, thyroid, liver, pancreas, kidney, reproductive organs, hundreds of conditions, including cancers, aneurysms, cysts, things that don't show symptoms until it's a bigger deal than what it needed to be. I just scheduled my appointment. I went over to the lab, I walked in, changed in the lounge where they wouldn't let me film, laid down for 22 minutes, and then I walked out. Super easy. And that's it. The results should come back in about a week, and I'll let you know coming soon in an upcoming video. They're reviewed by board-certified radiologists and written so I can actually understand what I'm reading. It's not buried in any medical jargon. This is part of Function Health, and honestly, it fits with exactly how I feel about all of it. Test, don't guess. Nobody's pushing supplements or pills. It's just data about your body. So gang, if you've been thinking about getting proactive with your health, this is the move. I can't wait to get my results and share them with you. The first 1,000 of you get $100 off using my link below or use code STACHESCANS100 at checkout. Go to functionhealth.com/scans or use the link in the description. Thanks to Function Health for sponsoring today's video. Number 4 is the most recent addition. And I know this is the one a lot of people joked about when I was making the video. It seems to have helped. I don't know how much. Now, a lot of people talk about taking 2 kiwis before bed. That's all they do, and they're able to sleep longer and better throughout the night. But there's some real research behind this. A study out of Taipei Medical University had people eat 2 kiwis an hour before bed for 4 weeks. They fell asleep over 35% faster. Total sleep time was up by 17%. And a more recent study out of New Zealand found the effect was immediate. Better sleep the same night, within 1 night. So here's why it works and why it's not redundant with my other sleep habits. So Tart cherry juice is triggering a melatonin and tryptophan. Magnesium, the glycinate, is triggering a relaxation and poor body temperature. Kiwis are high in serotonin and packed with antioxidants. Different pathways, but all pathways that are pointing towards sleep. They're complementary, not overlapping. Now, I haven't noticed much. I do feel pretty good in the mornings. The one thing that I have seen is that my sleep score has dramatically changed since adding the kiwi. I am in the high 90s every single night with the kiwi. Plus, it's delicious. So we can get that out of the way. So number 5 is one that I resisted for a long time. A sleep mask. You don't need anything special. This is a basic mask. There's some padding in it. Just think the cheapest one you can find online. It fits kind of snug, covers the eyes, goes around my nose. No light gets in. You can't see anything. I never really truly even thought about one of these. I thought they were kind of silly. I felt like it was going to be super uncomfortable. It was going to feel weird. At first, it was super uncomfortable and felt weird, but that was only for a couple of nights. But now, honestly, I can't sleep without it. So here's why. For people who are sensitive, even small amounts of light can suppress melatonin. The LED on your TV, the LED on air filters or air conditioners, a street light through the curtain, your phone charging, notifications coming in and lighting the phone up, even if you have notifications off. Your brain picks up all of those signals, even with your eyes closed. A sleep mask eliminates that variable. Now, I know it took a couple of days to get used to, but almost immediately I noticed that I was sleeping throughout the night a lot more often. And I was waking up in the morning feeling more refreshed. It was actually very pleasant to be able to wake up in the morning and take the mask off and it be light. And I think that's the biggest part of it. But as far as being able to stay asleep longer, this made a dramatic difference. A couple bucks. Number 6 was probably one of the hardest. And this is something that Monica and I are still getting used to. No TV before bed, 1 hour before bed. This one was really hard. It's also stimulating your brain right at the moment that you should be winding down. All of the other things I do, like dimming the lights and everything else, if you are keeping your brain active up until the moment you're about to go to bed, a lot of that doesn't matter. And to be honest, a lot of that is the blue light that's emitting from the TV. So you can use the light filters and the red light glasses and things like that, but it's also the content itself stimulating your brain, making you think, making you active, excited, the serotonin that's happening. If you're watching something tense or something funny, it's probably something that your brain wants to keep processing. What we did was replace it with reading, actual physical paper in our hands, books. Truly, it took about a week to kind of replace the TV without really missing it. We still, from time to time, will watch TV up until about a half an hour before bed, but being able to wind down without the television on has made a pretty big difference. Now, along with that comes number 7, which is a very similar thing. I would say the phone is worse than the TV when it comes to stimulating the brain and keeping you up at night. There's always more to comment. There's always more videos to watch, like this one. The content is designed to keep you engaged, to keep you watching and wanting more. An hour before bed, the phone goes in the room, goes in the charger, it's away from the bed, not touching it, not thinking about it, not worrying about it. That has made a very big difference on being able to wind down and getting to sleep faster and keeping me asleep. If I do happen to wake up in the middle of the night, which is happening far less now, picking up the phone is going to be the first thing that's going to keep you awake. It's also the first thing that a lot of people reach for. That's been a huge difference. Now, if I do wake up in the middle of the night, not picking up the phone, I can fall back asleep much, much faster. Huge, significant difference. Turning the TV off, putting the phone away. Number 8. This one was massive, and it's probably the most expensive. I will say this is the most expensive. I saw a lot of the sleeping pads and sleeping mattress pads, which were thousands of dollars, but their entire point is to cool you down. I live in Florida, so it's usually especially hot, but I think this can work anywhere. We would typically try to turn the temperature down at night before we go to bed to kind of cool the house down. The problem is we would have to cool the entire house down. So my solution, instead of spending thousands of dollars on cooling mattresses or cooling pads, I bought a smart window AC unit. Now these range in price. This was one of the cheapest ones. They had it at Costco. Again, it connects to the Home app, so I'm able to automate it, but I have it automated to turn the AC down about an hour before bed to cool the room down between 64 and 65 degrees. Much colder than I would normally keep the house ever. Now we're able to keep the house at a normal temperature and then only cool the bedroom. So that's actually kind of a positive there. That's nice. But the point of doing this is in physiology, your core body temperature needs to drop by 2 to 3 degrees for your body to sleep. That's not an opinion, that's scientific fact. If your room is 72 to 74 degrees, your body needs to work harder to do that, which delays sleep onset. Now, 64, 65 felt very cold at first. It was actually a little bit to get used to, but I was noticing how I was immediately falling asleep and my sleep was going much longer. Again, seeing points on my sleep score, but also feeling the difference throughout the night. But now, after a couple of weeks of doing this, it feels incredible. Now, this one pairs really well with the magnesium. The glycine is helping lower your internal core body temperature. The air conditioning is your external, helping your body cool faster. Now, Monica thinks 65 degrees is freezing. She's not wrong, it is, but she now enjoys the cool room to sleep. So here's what I actually noticed after about 3 weeks of doing all 8 consistently. First, I fall asleep fast, like noticeably fast. Before doing any of this, I used to lay down in bed 20, 30 minutes. My mind would race. I would lay there for a while. Now it feels like a switch has been switched. I lay down, my head hits the pillow, and I'm out. The total routine tells my brain what is coming, and my brain responds. Number 2, I absolutely do not wake up in the middle of the night anymore. No more 2 a.m., 3 a.m., having to go to the bathroom, having to, thinking it's Walker waking me up, my dog. I really didn't realize how often I was doing it until it stopped. And it is stopped. Over. Back in the day, I would wake up in the middle of the night. I would either grab my phone and go to the bathroom, and then I was up for 45 minutes or even longer. A lot of the times I would just end up getting out of bed, coming into the living room, and sitting here for a couple hours until I just passed out on my own, maybe on the couch. And that just does not happen anymore. third, and this is a big one for me, my runs got better, my workouts got better, I feel better throughout the day. I'm not having nearly as much midday fatigue, or none, actually. I'm not dragging in the middle of the afternoon, which I would a lot. Sleep is when your body repairs itself. It's when you build muscle, when your body consolidates everything you did throughout the day. Most people, including myself, was shortchanging that every single night. People that I talk to, friends, people that they don't have time to do any of these routines, they don't have time for sleep, they can't go to bed early, they can't wake up on time. You do not realize how much sleep affects you. I feel like a new person. I de-aged myself by 10 years, easily. Now, if I had to pick my top 3 that I would say were the most important, it would probably be dimming the lights and dimming your surroundings. So TV, phones, getting off of that. I'm just gonna put that as one. I did them in 2 different scenarios, which is why I gave them 2 different numbers. Well, 3 different numbers. But TV, phone, and lights, it's one thing, do that. That's going to make a massive difference. If you can cool your room, that's also going to make a huge difference. And then one of the sleep aids, magnesium, tart cherry, or kiwi, any one of those 3 is going to assist you. Now, the magnesium, tart cherry, and kiwi are kind of like the cherry on top. If you can do all 3 of them, great. But if you can only choose one, they're only going to work if you're able to do the rest of the work yourself, which is dimming the lights, getting away from the screens and the activity. Those are free. That makes the biggest difference. If you're considering doing any of this, pick 2 of them, start tomorrow, and then slowly add in to see what makes a difference for you. What works for me doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be for everybody. Gang, if you like this video and you found it helpful, please click the subscribe button. The next video is about how I tracked my life for 1 year. Everything, calories, activities, habits, sports, weight, heart rate, sleep, everything. It's gonna be a fun video.